Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel Held Dominance. Anthony here. Please remember to like and subscribe, and also click that notification bell if you're enjoying what you've seen and if you want to see more. Coming up in this episode, we have 4 leagues worth of reports. I bring you the championship, as there was a full fixture list a week ahead of the AB Sundex final between Featherstone and Leeds, as well as a Challenge Cup final on the 28th of May. So, let's have a look at the results. We begin on Saturday afternoon, Saturday the 21st of May, as there were 2 games played. The first game was Featherstone Rovers versus Whitehaven, and Featherstone routed Haven 48 points to 0. Featherstone were so dominant in this game that they were 46 points to 0 up by half time. Lockwood, Helliwell, Hall, Leilua, Jacks, a hat-trick from Jesse Senelafeu, a single try from Smith, Briscoe, another hat-trick by Jones, and one from Moores sealed the win for Featherstone in tries. There was 11 conversions done by Craig Hall for the 78 points that they scored. The other game that was played on Saturday was Bradford 36, Newcastle Thunder 20. Bradford still coachless officially, are still looking for the right appointment, but they seem to be going great guns. 2 tries from Gill, 2 from Doyle, 1 from Wallace and 1 from Deck Patton, as well as 6 conversions from Deck Patton, put Bradford into the winning column. They were 24 points to 0 up in the first half. Second half, Newcastle Thunder saw Johnson going for a hat-trick and Peachy score a try for himself, while Woods kicked 2 goals. We move into Sunday's results, as we first see Batley beat London Broncos 28 points to 12. It was a 12-0 scoreline at half-time for the London Broncos, as Beanick and Leyland both scored a try-piece, while Leyland and Thorman kicked a conversion apiece. But Batley scored 28 unanswered points in the second half through White, Gilmore, Brown, Hooley, Riley, and 4 conversions by Gilmore to seal the win. Our next game was a close one, as Dewsbury just missed out on victory after losing 20 points to 18 at home. And it was a game that seesawed in 2 different directions, as first of all, it was Barrow who was 16 points to 6 up at half time. Samet stacked with 2 tries, and Creswell got on over the line for Barrow, while 2 conversions were made by Samet. Dewsbury's fast finishing saw them come close to the victory, with Ryder scoring 2 tries, Schofield scoring 1 for himself, and Sykes kicking 3 conversions. Lee Centurions kept the pressure on Featherstone as they put a big win over Workington. Workington's points came in the first half when Barnes and Thomas, both Barnes with the try and Thomas with the conversion, as Lee led 30 points to 6 at half time, in a game which was all for Lee, and it was a debut to remember for Blake Ferguson, as he went over for 4 tries. There were doubles for Chamberlain, Inu, O'Donnell and McDonald, and then a single try by Mellor. Chris Ninu didn't have the best of days with the boot, as he only converted 3 of Lee's 13 tries. And finally, for Sunday's games, York City Knights were beaten 24 points to 40 of the Halifax Panthers in the home game, which was a double header with the York women, but more of them a little later. York were just behind at half-time, 22 points to 18, after Harris with a double, Teenby, and 3 kicks from Ellis put them in a shout with the Halifax Panthers. and to keep their momentum up towards the top of the table. Marsh got another try in the second half, and Ellis kicks the fourth of his goals. For Halifax, it was a hat-trick day for Walmsley as he went over 3 times. Moore, Woodburn, Hall and Murray twice were the other try scorers for Halifax Panthers. There was also 6 conversion for Keys. This is what the league table looks like after that result. Featherstone Rovers still lead the way with 23 points from their 12 games, while Leeds Centurions are still only a point behind. But now there's a gap opening behind them as York City Knights are 4 points behind due to their loss against 4th place Halifax Panthers. Batley Bulldogs, their victory pushed them up to 5th with a game in hand on Halifax, while Barrow Raiders' victory ties them on points with Batley Bulldogs. Bradford Bulls move into 7th above Sheffield Eagles and Widnes Vikings thanks to their win against Newcastle Thunder, which sees Newcastle drop down due to their defeat. Whitehaven comes next, but their routing seems to be pushing them further towards the bottom of the table, where we see Dewsbury Rams, London Broncos and Workington Town, who have yet to get on the board. The last match of the weekend sees Sheffield Eagles face Widnes Vikings, and it's shown on Premier Sport tonight at 7:45 kickoff. It's going to be held at the Sheffield Olympic Legacy Park under reduced capacity, but it's the first game for Sheffield Eagles at their home after the redevelopment. We now turn our attentions to League One, as there were 4 games in the Betfred League One for this weekend, with the 5th game, because of the weekend off, being played down in London, as London Scholars face Oldham. So Friday, London Rugby League showcase, people going down, watch a game the day before, and then the Challenge Cup final, as well as the AB Sundex final the day after. Anyway, let's get on to the scores. So there were 3 games played on Saturday, a week before the finals, and the first game that we're going to talk about is Swinton versus Cornwall, as Swinton ran in 54 points against Cornwall in a very, shall we say, bitty affair for the Cornwall side. Anyway, Lepore scored twice for Swinton, and the Hatton boys got a try apiece. Brickhill got 1. Roby, Roberts, Cox, Butts and Hanson also helped themselves to a try apiece. Abrams kicked 6 of 10 conversion attempts. For Cornwall, Russlin on debut got a pair of tries as Purcell went over for himself, while Johns scored 2 of her 3 kicks to give Cornwall the 16 points. There was Kay in the sin bin for a high tackle as well. That didn't help Cornwall in this very fractious affair. Next we have Rochdale Hornets 46, Doncaster RLFC 28. It was only going to go one way after the second half. After the first half was relatively close, as Rochdale held the lead at 20 points to 16. A hat-trick from Jai Hitchcox on loan from Lee, with Callan scoring twice, Sheridan, Aspe, Forrester and Green all getting a try apiece, while Sheridan kicked over 5 goals. For Doncaster, they had Halliday, Tally, Ollett, York and Poching, Willison all going over for a try apiece, while Robinson kicked 4 goals. West Wales Raiders were brought down to the earth with a thump after being thumped by Hunslet 50 points to 12 at their home stadium. They couldn't make it 2 wins from 2 after their win against Cornwall last time out. So it was 12 points to 50, with West Wales thanking their tries from Coleman and 1 from Merritt, while 2 conversions from the 2 attempts by Murphy gave their 2 tries, 1 at either half, for their 12 points. Hunslet had Josh Jordan Roberts opening the scoring, then Halas Vega, a hat-trick from David Gibbons, coming one after each other, Retty, and a try in either half by Hartley to thank for all the scoring. There was also 7 kicks by Sanderson from his 9 attempts. Then in the final game this weekend for League One, we see Keighley beat Midlands Hurricanes 29 points to 18. It was Keighley's day as they led 14 points to 6 at half time. This was due to all the scoring was due to Graham, 2 from Roebuck and 2 from Agoro, crossing the try line for their 5 tries. Miller scored 3 conversions, kicked a penalty, and Dane Chisholm kicked a drop goal to put an icing on the cake. For Midland, they had Dawson to thank instead for the first points in the first half. Then Clevering and Welland both got a try apiece, while Hardcastle kicked 2 conversions to nearly give them a bit of an incentive before Keighley went away at 1. Here is the League One table, which is a bit out of sync now that we have 3 teams that have had the day off. With Keighley Cougars now top of the table with 8 wins from their 8 games. North Wales Crusaders drop a place without even playing, as it was their week off, and still are unbeaten this season. Rochdale are in 3rd now with 7 wins from their 9 games, while Swinton are in 4th with 6 wins from their 8. Doncaster have 5 wins and 10 points in 5th place, while Hunslet are catching up with a game behind Doncaster with their 9 points from their 8 games. Oldham are down in London on the 27th of March, which means Hurricanes could have went above them, but unfortunately their loss at Keighley sees them staying 8th. West Wales Raiders are on their single win for the season from last week, couldn't get further up the table, but now Cornwall have 8 losses from their 8 games, and if the Scholars pick up anything against Oldham next Friday, Cornwall will be rock bottom. There was Women's Super League action in the North and South this weekend, as we see some good results and a couple of shock results as well, as the women put on a show. First of all, Leeds Rhinos beat Huddersfield 60 points to 4 in a game on Sunday. The Rhinos had Kira Bennett, Zoe Hornby, Caitlin Beavers, scoring a try apiece, as well as Alicia Watson and Georgia Roach. But Courtney Winfield Hill scored twice, Sam Hume got 2 as well, and Frank Goldthorpe got a hat-trick, while Amelia Brown was the try scorer for Huddersfield. In the second game in Group 1, we see York City Knights ladies beating St Helens by 13 points to 6. Despite going behind early after Burke went over for Saints try and Harris kicked the conversion, it was all York after that, as Grace Fields scored to equalise in try stakes, and Stanley got the second try, and Stanley kicked 2 from 2, as well as the drop goal to seal the win for York City Knights. This game is readily available on ourleague.com and it's free to watch, so just sign up and you'll be able to watch it. It was a good game in Group B to start off things, as Bradford beat Lee Miners Rangers 12 points to 8. It was a back and forth game, to be honest, kicking not so good, but After Robin Bell Sapelsus opened the scoring, Bradford took the lead through Whelan and Williams when Bell Sapelsa went over again. But in the dying minutes, Alice Fisher went over for the final score to win it for the Bradford Bulls. Next were a couple of big results in the Betfred Women's Super League, as first of all we see Featherstone are beaten Castleford Tigers 56 points to 6. In what was a very one-sided game, and our highlights are available on the Featherstone Rovers Twitter page. It was tries for 2 for Backhouse, 2 for Carr, 2 for Grace and 2 for Copley that set Featherstone on their way. A try apiece from Teese, Watt and Mannion finished off the scoring against Castleford. Matthews converted 1 goal while Copley kicked 5. Castleford's response was when it was 6-0 and it was Maisie Lum who went over for the try. And in the final Group 2 game, we see that Warrington Wolves won 86 points to 0 against Wakefield Trinity. There was 5 tries for Georgia Sutherland in this game. A fantastic effort, considering one was a 100-metre dash and beating everyone to score. There was 2 tries for Davis and a hat-trick for Sammy Simpson as well to complete the route. There were tries all apiece for Daniels, Mullaney, Foley, Jelves, Johnston, McGraw and Johnson, while Foley kicked 3 goals and Davis scored 6 conversions. I now would like to turn your attention to the Betfred Women's Super League South, as there were a few fixtures down there that were of interest to Super League progression in 2022. There is also a bit of bad news that we keep hearing about from one of the teams as well. So first of all, the results. In their opening game in the Betfred Women's Super League South, we see that Oxford Cavaliers were beaten 104 points to 0. Tries for Ellie Taylor, a hat-trick for Kearns, 2 for Salter, 5 for Emily Hughes, Humphreys, Mottershead, Muller, Selby, McCusker, Traco, Ingram and Newman all got a try apiece, while Courtney Traco kicked 14 goals. The next game that we have got the scorers for is Bedford Tigers 64, Bristol All Golds 18. The Ferns weren't overawed in this game at all and didn't deserve to be routed by so much. It was 24 points to 14 in the first half, and that was mostly thanks to the efforts of try scorer Bobby Jackson, who got a hat-trick. Witt got the other try, and Humphreys kicked 1 from 4th to complete the scoring for the All Golds. There was 1 star of the game though, and that was Caroline Colley. The England call-up scored 6 tries and converted 6 conversions, while Drummond, Taylor, Gross, Alcorn, Booth and Hamlin Williams all got on the try scoring charts each. So the final game that we're going to talk about is a Super League South's Grand Final winners, the Cardiff Demons, visit to the Army Rugby League. The Army Rugby League are going through a transition period this year, as they weren't sure that they were going to be involved in the Betfred Women's Super League South due to only 5 players being left from last year's squad that got to the Grand Final. So it was a new experience, and there was plenty of debuts on show for the Army, including, if I'm not mistaken, a Lithuanian armed services player, Diminta Vini Unate. I apologise if I've got that pronunciation incorrect, but she made a debut as an They're the first Lithuanians to play for British Army at any sports. So, congratulations to her on making her debut. Now, the scoring was all one way, I'm afraid, in the first half, as it was 40 points to 0 at half time, which led to a scoreline of 12 points to 72. As I said, it is an experimental Army side that almost didn't get involved in this year's tournament. Now, we saw a try for Burnell, Michael, and a hat-trick for Norkett for Cardiff, as well as one for Carr, 2 for Price, 1 for Jones, 1 for Reardon, 1 for King, who's the captain, 2 for Charlie Mundy, and 1 for Joanne Maguire. There was also 8 conversions in this game for the Cardiff Demons, and they were all done by Burnell. Kaya Glynn that went over for the first try for the Army, and she converted her own try. And Jess Williams scored the second try for the Army, one of those two being 2 of the players from last year. Glynn added the extras, but it wasn't to be today. But it will be a great experience for the Army going on to next week's game. Cardiff Demons go on and look imperiously at everyone else. That's the team to beat. So there were supposedly 7 teams involved in the Betfred Women's Super League South, and it's a league that travels all around the country, whether it's London, Cornwall, or Wales, with Oxford in the middle, so on and so forth. But it turns out one leg of the journey might not be coming to fruition, as we noted in commentary that the Cornish Rebels might not be involved when they're supposed to take the field next week. We'll probably hear more about that in the future. It's due to financial constraints, player numbers, availability, all coming to the fore. I would hesitate to say. That means that the league will drop down to 6, I'm afraid. We hope that is not the case, but it's not looking good, I'm afraid, at this early stage. Don't know if there's anything different that could be done to help out at this at the moment, but I'm hoping for the best, but understand the real financial struggles that everyone is going through at this moment in time. It would normally be at this point where I end the episode by asking you to like and subscribe, put your comments in the comments below, but as you can tell, I'm a little bit somber, as the date that I'm recording this, the 22nd of March 2021, is the 5th year anniversary from the Manchester bombings. At an Ariana Grande concert late in the evening on a Sunday night, an attack was done on the Manchester Arena, and 22 souls didn't return home. Aging between 8 and 50 years old, these names, these people, these family members, these brothers, sisters, husbands, wives, sons, daughters, nephews, nieces, grandsons, grandmothers, grandfathers didn't return home. I want to leave you with their names next to me, as we will never forget and we'll always remember. Stay safe, all the best, and I'll see you in the next episode.